Hello everyone, my name is Aiden. Welcome to another video on the NBA channel, ladies and gentlemen, Aiden's NBA show to say the least. And today's probably not going to be a video where it's going to be all sunshines and rainbows. We're talking about a serious thing, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about an unfortunate piece of news that did occur, events that did occur, and that is Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles and being out for a significant period of time. And that also allowed New York to take advantage and walk away with a series victory over Boston. Now, in no way am I saying that New York wouldn't have won regardless. I'm going to talk about that in a future video. This is mainly going to be a video discussing Jason Tatum. Where does the Boston Celtics go from here in terms of Jason Tatum? This is going to be a video basically surrounding him. And he's known for that. He's a superstar. He's a big-time player, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody wants to talk about Jason Tatum. So why not add my experience or my opinion into the frame, my hat, I guess, whatever it's called. But before we get any further, if you like the video, you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about Jason Tatum and, I guess, where does he go from here? There's a lot to talk about in this regard, but of course the first thing, and I do this with every player, and I mean it with Jason Tatum as well, I want to wish Jason Tatum nothing but the best, and hopefully he gets well soon. You could tell he's a competitor. You could tell he doesn't want to walk out of that, wheeled out of that court without a fight. You could tell he wants to win every series he's a part of. That's what the best do, ladies and gentlemen. They aim to win even if they don't. The last thing he probably wanted was to not have a say in the matter. And sadly, that's what happened to him. And I don't care if you're a New York Knicks fan or any other fan that hates Jason Tatum. If you're going to be disrespecting one of the best players in the league that gives it his all every game, whether he plays well or not, and he tears his Achilles because of that, you're not the type of audience I'm focusing on. So if you're going to be here laughing at Jason Tatum, look, I can't stop you, can I? But this is not a video for you, and I'm not going to be paying attention to that type of rubbish. Jason Tatum's a great player, and he deserves the respect of a great player. With that being said, let's move on. Let's talk about a little bit more outside of just critiquing everyone. So, yes, the Boston Celtics are not the same team without Jason Tatum in there. His ability to shoot the three, his ability to drive and kick, his ability to be a three-level scorer, one of the best players in the NBA today. Of course, Boston would struggle without that type of caliber. The question is now, can Jason Tatum get back to the level where he was before? You know, I have Boston Celtics fans, friends that are Boston Celtics fans, is what I'm trying to say. And everybody right now is down bad when it comes to who I know from the Boston Celtics side of things. Saying, I've heard someone say they've lost their smile based on what happened to Boston and what happened to Jason Tatum. What I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that Jason Tatum has the type of mentality where he's going to bring everything to the table to make sure he's fully recovered and that he will be at a very similar level than when you last saw him. There are many players that don't recover well from Achilles, ACL injuries, MCL injuries, the whole lot. You know, there's a lot of players that don't come back. Heck, Lonzo Ball had a 2.5-year injury and he came back and he did all right. And that's almost like a revolutionary thing for what Lonzo Ball went through. Jason Tatum is in a situation where now, because of what's happened and because of how things ended in New York, for him at least, the motivation is going to be there at a level that we will not understand as normal, regular people, I guess normal, regular fans of the NBA. Maybe in other areas we will understand something like that. But that is the beautiful part about what's going to be happening with Jason Tatum. He's going to be recovering, you know, getting the surgeries and whatnot, coming back to the court, and he's going to have a point to prove in every single facet of the game. So the key thing for Boston is they need to make the playoffs next season without him. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. My guess is he'll be out for the majority of next season. But if he has a chance to come back in the playoffs, Boston has to be there. Because that will give Boston a really good chance of fighting for a championship once more. Can Boston do that? Abso-freaking-lutely they can do that. They're the Boston Celtics. They're still going to be a team that lives and dies by the three. They've got very good defensive players, and they've got a structure in place where they're going to be beating up on a very weak Eastern Conference, especially if guys like Giannis and Joel Embiid are no longer there. The East is going to be really, really, really weak. You have your New Yorks, you have your Clevelands, you have your Pacers, but the Boston Celtics are more than capable of making the playoffs, making anywhere between the first and the sixth seed without Jason Tatum there. But it's going to be a big adjustment period, and it's about giving, I guess, themselves a chance to win that championship next season. They have to do it. They have to make the playoffs. And that's where you're going to see what Jason Tatum is all about. It's going to be a bit weird because it's going to be over a year, maybe not over a year, but it's going to be a long time until you see Jason Tatum probably back at the NBA. And that adjustment period could be weird, especially if he's coming back during a playoff period. It could be very weird. It could be very unusual, and it may downright suck. But again, the best players find a way to capitalize and find a way to come back. I fully believe he'll come back as strong as before, maybe a little bit weaker, but I can't see him taking that big regression that I think a lot of people are expecting him to make. I can't see that happening in the cards. And look, this is definitely not just a praising Jason Tatum video. Look, he's got a lot of work to do, and it has to start now, of course. And he can very well come back and stink up the joint. It's very, very possible. I just think his mentality is different, and that's why I believe he'll come back very, very strongly whenever he decides or whenever he's able to come back. That's my optimism there with Jason Tatum. But Boston needs to change the way that they play. I'll talk about that in a future video, but obviously with Jason Tatum there, they were still struggling. And I hope that they have more time now without a Jason Tatum to figure out multiple game plans, a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. Because from where I'm sitting, with Jason Tatum, without Jason Tatum, Boston only had one plan and it failed. So we'll talk about that soon. Get well soon, Jason Tatum. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.